Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Ahn Rho Project. This is a psychiatric self-therapeutic multimedia project to solve the problems, challenges, obstacles in our lives, as well as a self-improvement process to reach the high goals and ambitions that we've set for ourselves, as well as those around us. If you'd like a brief introduction, a brief summary as to how we break down the Ahn Rho Project into domains of life, sub-series, analogies, so on and so forth, including the live streaming schedule, copyright-free music, and so on and so forth. You can check that out on the previous live streams for the past 3.5 years straight to January 2021 and beyond for more updated versions. That being said, 3 points as we dive into segment 2. First, of course, you can skip this abridged introduction by about a minute and a half into the stream, and you'll dive right into phase 2. That's where the content is. What you see is what you get. Second thing, we typically divide the segment into, the live stream into 11 segments, grouped into 3 phases across a 15-minute live stream, so it won't take too much of your time. And the third and last bit, this is a Solve 8.0 override, standing for System Override version 8.0. It's a rule to break all the rules, a system principle to free myself from the system and just be practical, purely practical, and do what most urgently needs getting done. So with that being said, let's dive right into it. Take a look on the screen. You have a lot of stuff. What's it say? Letter of farewells. I believe that's something to do with the title, right? Hopefully I updated it. If I didn't, then well, fuck. So it should say letter of goodbyes, something like that. And what I'm going to do now is just go through the collage, and you see there's going to be a lot of storytelling, a lot of gifts, collections. There's going to be a lot of relationships, finance, business, a lot of just family. I think that's the key word. So let's take a look here. Let's go through the collage real quick. So you see a lot of money here, Canadian dollars. We have some drugs here. So these are diabetic drugs, prescribed drugs, and then at the bottom there also a little bit of video and commentary, also a voice recording. So we'll get to all this. That's kind of that's about 30%. Another 30% at the very bottom here. Expand on that. You see, these are the gifts that I prepared for my colleagues yesterday. I was scrambling for like 8 hours straight. Thought I wasn't gonna make on time. I arrived just at like the last hour. And I made a real big scene. It was horrible. I feel so awful. I walked in there, and then as I just picked up the phone, and she told me to take a deep breath because she could hear something was wrong with me, based off of what happened in the morning. I just broke down. But anyways, we'll talk to that in a second. So what you see here, that's a tangent. You see all these USB clips, right? You see the Usan Health Science, the business products, the health nutrition products, the biomedical research. You see all that kind of stuff down here at the very bottom, having to do with cards and so on and so forth. So it's just a lot of stuff. Those are the things I made for them. And then we have here in the middle, once again, more stuff more stuff here that is as I was doing the research. That's why you see like the stuff on the top about Tamil New Year and stuff like that, and then me writing up the crafts, like a card. So it says family, trust, health, business. I obviously hand wrote that. There's also some stuff at the very bottom about the naming of the files and the decoratives, sorry, not the decorations, but the design. So the creative phase, the design phase. Also, I forgot to mention down here, cards, not just that I made for them, but here is the gift that cards that I received from them. So the money actually is from my colleagues as well. So let's just dive right into it. So we'll start off with, as usual, the voice recordings. If I can get to that right now in a second. Where is it? Oh, there it is. So here's the voice recording, segment 4 and 5. The live stream and the voice recording, segment 4. This is the media assets, segment 5, relationships. So you can see there's about roughly 3 recordings here. There's actually 2 more. We'll probably show that tomorrow, but I'll talk about today. But long story short, this recording is a lot. There's like 4 or 5 recordings here. One of them is obviously me going into the workplace, planning to give the gifts, breaking down, having a moment, HR coming up, and then collecting myself. She was worried she mentioned I might have to contact the authorities if that's dangerous, but I wanted to trust in my domestic guardians that could handle the situation. So I decided to, okay, once we cover that, the recording also covers me going into the workplace, giving all the gifts, giving my farewells, bidding my farewells, all that kind of stuff, and giving all 4 parts of the gifts. Coming back, another recording has to do with me giving a phone call to one of my buddies, AN, who's always been there for me. I said, this might be, if things don't turn out well over the weekend, then I might end up being a statistic next Monday. So just want to say, listen, I thank you so much for being there for me, man. Appreciate it. Take care of your girlfriend, take care of your family, stuff like that. And then as well, I made another phone call. So that was like the 3rd recording, with a volunteer who has been like a godmotherly figure to me. from the hospital I volunteer at, and she's been through a horrific life. But even so, that's why I know her. The two of us just have this ability to connect and bond over the difficulties we have in life, and then to be able to support and push each other forward and to overcome those challenges. Because if life's a bitch, you still gotta overcome it. It doesn't really matter. That's what life is. It's just a never-ending cycle, and you hopefully one day can strive, even right now in the moment, try to appreciate and be grateful for what you actually have with you, and to grow on those positive aspects of life. So there's a lot of stuff, and then there was even one recording late last night I had with my maternal guardian, so about 2 hours catching up stuff, her health, things she wanted me to buy from the grocery store, and then about what's going down in the workplace, about the difficulty between me and her, as well as particularly my biological father. So all that kind of stuff. And then this morning I had a fifth recording. Jesus, they were like 6 minutes into the stream. um, yeah, in the morning, I had a rerun of the thoughts, because there were obviously some general misunderstandings and stuff. As I was still trying to speak to her, there were still signs that we didn't really understand each other as much as we could. That's natural in a relationship. And then I just resolved them by venting out the things that were kind of bottling up inside my mind this morning into a stream. And I said, she's not trying to push you towards anything. She's just trying to support you. So I was reminding myself that there's a recording of that. So that's the entire recording. Obviously, this live stream is also part of the media asset. So that's segments 4 and 5. Um, Great. That was a mouthful. Segment 5 always tends to be a lot of stuff because of relationships. Now we talked to segment 6 now. Stoic reflections, copyright notice, not my stuff. So you can easily judge the character of a man by how he treats those who can do nothing for him. So unconditional love, unconditional kindness. Johann von Goethe. So this is basically, once again, copyright notice, go to Stoic reflections. This is not my kind of content. It's just stuff that is relevant to my life, because that's philosophy has been my figurative father, as much as psychiatry my figurative mother. So let's move on to other media assets. So I was doing research for the cards that I was making for my colleagues. Putandu, so Sri Lankan New Year, Tamil New Year, stuff like that, and I just wanted to write it down. So that's the right Putuhand. I want to spell it correctly. I also managed to knock up a printout of these. Save them for future use. Do not life throws at you. Your loved ones listen to them on computers. Not at the workplace or whatever. Feel free to use all or some or none. USBs for my colleagues, right? That's what it was all about. The gifts, one of those gifts there. We'll showcase them in a second. Then we have here the research company that I was talking about. I want to visit the website askthescientist.com, since I wrote down on a script of paper, which you'll see soon enough. That basically right here. So right here. Ask more information at askthescientist.com. So I wrote this with a marker down, and then I taped it onto the welcome kit as part of it. So that's that, and that's how that turns out. So I need to make sure the website was up and running. Okay, family, trust, health, and business. More information, click on it and it leads you nowhere. Family, trust, and health, and business. Um, so this is a card now. This is the card itself. Actually, since we were just talking about the whole USB stuff, why don't I just showcase some of the USBs right now? So here's the USBs. Like I said, the paper slip, right, with the saying, feel free to use all or none. On the USBs, there are like 8. There's like audiobooks, video summaries, so on and so forth, with business, finance, psychiatry, Dr. David Sinclair, Dr. Hubert Schuberman, it's just Dr. Andrew Huberman, sorry, and stuff like that. So just all of that. There are 4 of those, 8 USBs, 2 per page, and yeah, so that's that. And okay, so oh man, I should have fuck. What I should have done is make quick mention that each of these is supposed to be for each department, slightly different. So anyways, that's that, and yeah. Okay, so moving on. Okay, back on track. So here's a letter of farewell. So that's kind of the name that I named the cards after. So the card here, for instance, there's a file that I would save onto the laptop. And so here's the shipping receiving card. I can't show you all of them, obviously, because some of it has confidential information. Family, health, trust, business. That's just the inside of the card that I wrote down. I didn't want to show the content to the live stream, obviously, because that has confidential information between me and my colleagues. So don't want to show that. But here's what the card looks like, right? Obviously, it's blurred out on purpose. I'm glad this was a blurry picture. That's the only reason why I can show it to you, is because you can't make out what it says. But you can see a whole bunch of cards, a bunch of the slips, and so on and so forth. And then tasks remaining for the day here. As I was trying to get this like Word document out to print it out, turns out that as I send it over to the desktop to print out, Google Drive will turn into a Google document, which then destroys all the formatting. So I had to save it. I had to convert the Word document to PDF before I transferred it over and then printed it out. Now we have on the side here, basically as I'm completing all the gifts, you can see all together now. I was just at this point I was uploading all the documents onto the USBs. You can see the USANA Health Scientist supplements kind of stuff, and then you see all the cards up there. We also see the USB drives, stuff like that. We also have here once again just more angle shots of it, some high res, some lower resolution. Here's an aerial photograph right here, so you can see a really nice and clear angle shot of everything. And 1 2 3, okay. One last thing here before we move on to the next is these USBs. Once again, you can see your new 16 gigabyte right ON drives. They can keep the USBs, I don't give a shit, right? So it's like that. And right, so we have all these USB drives here, like I said, with the 8 resources: neuroscience, psychiatry, trust and relationships, and so on and so forth. So, and here are the supplements with the cards and USB put inside, package ready to go. Here's all the cards together, right? Like I was supposed to do this and say that there's 2 of these per department. I left the day without elaborating on that, so unfortunately. Okay, back to the side here. Once again, you can see it just neatly stacked. Unfortunately, I kind of took it all out separately before. And then now I'm back. I come back from the workplace, and you see here there's this card, this pink card, and that's the Pharaoh card that they gave me. And I opened it, and oh Jesus, that's like almost $150, maybe $200 worth of, like, they just contributed money. And yeah, that was insane. And I didn't really kind of just came the other way around, because the cards inside the cards, you have to understand, right? The card inside these cards that I made for them, I put 150 for one department and 250 for the ladies and the guys in the department. So it's like it just kind of went all the way around. I gave them 400, 450 something, and they gave me 200, 250 something. It's just like, you know, the money's like, you know, it's priceless. Relationships, you know, that's just, who cares about the money? So it's like, I just feel like it just came full circle. And you see here, thank you for what? Jesus, I've been such a mess in the past year. I feel awful, absolutely fucking awful. The first year I was much better, but these last 2 years or so, just awful. I have been an awful colleague, an awful member of their team. And there's nothing I can do to, I feel I can make up for that. So here's the card on the back, obviously, and it's really nice. It has this like pina colada type of stuff, margarita. Now here's the bills, Canadian dollar bills, and so on and so forth, $5 bills. There's 2 different types of $10 bills. So there's one here of a face with one's with a streetcar, one's with Sir John A. Macdonald. So it's like 2 older versions of Canadian dollar bills. And then there's the buildings and historic monuments and stuff like that. Queen Elizabeth, you know, and then okay, I'm sorry, I don't know this guy. I'm sorry. All right. Okay, so let's move on to drugs. So prescription drugs for so I was having a conversation with my biological mother yesterday. I said, so these are some diabetic drugs she's taking. So quite severe. Metformin, I recognize this from Dr. David Sinclair, on resveratrol, metformin, and NAD, to anti-aging, biological senescence. But here's like 3 drugs. She's taking only 2 of them right now, but she's experiencing heavy side effects. You know, so this is angiotensin receptor 2 antagonist, so that's very powerful actually. It's scary just how much that is. So I noticed I'm about to run out of time here. We have, last but not least, I came out from work, also wanted to take a look at some videos. I was relaxed, CPTSD, Body Keeps Score, that book, and I found it on comment section in one of the videos there, and I basically document on Excel. So last but not least, let's just cover this. Here's the synopsis of everything. You can see the collage, great. You can see some of these are finally the messages that I wrote down. And with that being said, I'm ending this live stream right here. So we'll probably continue this later on today. I'm going to probably go buy groceries or buy some stuff for my biological guardians, and that's it. Yeah.